Hello everyone, welcome to this End Times Watcher session. My name is Kai and I am just an End Times Watcher. I'll be sharing what I read and perceive from the Bible pertaining to End Times. Since Module S18, our theme has been Antichrist. We still have a bit more to glean off from this topic. They are mainly from Revelations 13 and 17, where he is known as the first beast, the beast that rises from the sea, and the scarlet beast. Will we be able to identify the beast after all this? Perhaps, but please note, is it form before function or function before form? I borrowed that from the domain of creativity. In this context, it will be, do you have a candidate in mind and is force-fitting him to be the Antichrist? Or do you have a list of these characteristics and any potential candidate must fulfill every point in that list? Otherwise, he is not a candidate. In Revelation 13, we saw that he has composite body, leopard body, the Greek Empire, bare feet, Medo-Persian, lion mouth, Babylonian. The beasts have 7 heads, 10 horns, and 10 crowns. In Revelation 17, the beasts have 7 heads and 10 horns. Crowns are not described, but the beasts have a color to it, scarlet. In Daniel 7, the fourth beast has iron teeth. Legs of iron was described in the statue of Nebuchadnezzar's dream, which represents the Roman Empire. That is confirmed in Daniel 7:23, where the fourth beast is the fourth kingdom to come, and the little horn grew from the fourth beast. In this module, we will cover those points that were not discussed at length in our previous modules. Let's dig into Revelation 13:1. The beast rises up out from the sea. The sea is not many waters. Many Christians think that they're the same, but they're not. Many waters denote many different bodies of water, while the sea is a singular piece. In Revelation 17, the angel explained that the many waters symbolizes different people from different nations and tongues. It is the harlot who sits on many waters, but the beast rises from the sea. So what does the sea symbolize? Revelation 20:13 says that the sea gave up the dead who were in it. So hell or the abyss is not the only place that houses the dead. Then Revelations 11 and 17 specifically tells us that the beast ascends out from the bottomless pit. That is the abyss in some translation. Also, what does perdition mean? I have to check the dictionary to make sure I got it right. This is what I got. A state of punishment that goes on forever. That sounds like the second death, the lake of burning sulfur where Satan, Antichrist, and the false prophet are eventually thrown into. So the abyss or bottomless pit and perdition are two different places. From the verses, we can interpret the sea to refer to a place that holds the dead, not the final place of punishment, but a holding place for dead people. So the beast is potentially a past figure that will rise again from the dead. That fits well with Revelation 13:3 about the fatal wound that was healed. We will come back to this point again. We now cross-reference to Daniel 7. The four great beasts all came up from the sea. From history, we know that neither of these great kings rises from the abyss. At least it is not openly obvious. These kings are Nebuchadnezzar, Cyrus of Persia, Alexander the Great, and Julius Caesar. Another view of the sea comes from Revelation 21. Verse 1 says that when the new heaven and new earth comes down, there'll be no more sea. Okay, no more sea. So what? But when we read further down to verse 4, it says, no more death, sorrow, crying, or pain. So not only does the sea represent death, it also represents sorrow, crying, and pain. So a more plausible interpretation is that the sea represents a chaotic and dangerous place, one filled with death, sorrow, pain, and tears. All these great kingdoms struggled in their rise to power. They rose from the chaotic waves of the rough sea. Why is this important? Not only will Antichrist be rising up in power struggle, we will, at a later date, compare him to the second beast who rises from the air, land, or earth. In contrast, the earth represents a civilized and orderly place. But this will be another video session. We next look at the 10 horns and 10 crowns. In Daniel 8, we saw that the beasts represent a kingdom and the horn is a king in that kingdom. You can go back to S19 about the ram and goat to check this. Also in Revelation 17, the angel explained that the 10 horns are 10 kings. They're not yet. And when they rise to power, it is only for a short time, denoted by 1 hour. The other place that talked about the 10 horns is in Daniel 7. We covered that in S18. Antichrist is the 11th horn, the little horn. Revelation 17 says that they receive authority. The kingdom of the beast is ruled by Antichrist. Then how do these 10 kings fit in? Just as Satan had given Antichrist the authority, Antichrist will in turn give the 10 kings the authority to rule on his behalf. Hence, the crown on each of these 10 horns represent the authority to rule as kings. Let's split some hair here now. Note that the little horn will not have a crown. Only the 10 horns are given a crown. I guess as the de facto leader, he does not need to wear a crown. The crown is a sign of endowed authority given by Antichrist. Let's summarize this. The sea is a chaotic and dangerous place, signifying that Antichrist's rise will be filled with intrigue and power struggle. It is not going to be a smooth one. Also, since Antichrist rises from the abyss, the sea has dual meaning. The second meaning refers to the abyss, meaning Antichrist could rise from a well-known figure from the past. The beast is Antichrist and also refer to his power base. In his power base, there will be 10 other leaders who are given the authority to lead on his behalf. Please allow me to pause here and highlight one important point. When we interpret the Bible, especially with so many symbolism, we must try our utmost best not to leave any stones unturned. Another passage that talks about the 10 horns is in Daniel 7:24. In this passage, we note that Antichrist shall subdue 3 of the kings in his rise to power. This is where confusion arises. 10 of the kings are given power to rule, but 3 of them were uprooted. Won't that just leave 7 to rule? One likely case is that after he uprooted them, he assigned new ones to replace them. After all, these 10 kings are most likely 10 geographical regions of his power base. He will need a general or king to rule each of those regions. We move on to the 7 heads. The beast represents kingdom and the horns kings. So does the head represent kingdoms or kings? Revelation 17 says that the 7 heads are 7 mountains. In addition, it is also 7 kings. Hence, the symbol has dual meaning. Again, the 7 mountain is description for the harlot, and the 7 kings is referring to Antichrist, the beast. During John's writing, 5 were past kings. The 6th is the current king, and the 7th in the future. There are 3 major interpretations to this. One of the earliest is that it represents the 7 Roman Caesars, starting with Julius Caesar. And the current one is the mad Nero who set the city on fire. But there is a problem. After Nero, the Roman Empire continued on for many more decades, and there were many future Caesars. The most prominent anti-Jew is Domitian, but there were a few Caesars in between Nero and Domitian. This interpretation has too many holes in it. The other is that it represents 7 empires. At that time, the Romans were ruling. Some scholars that are so fixated that Antichrist must be the Pope insist that the 7th future empire is Papal Rome. But you will have to twist and turn your neck to odd position to fit that theory in. A more plausible one is the Ottoman Empire, which is headquarters in Constantinople. Today is the capital of Turkey, Istanbul. All these 7 kingdoms listed have the land of Israel within its rule. Also, after the Ottoman Empire, there were no more real empires that occupied the Holy Land. The third view is that there were 7 Antichrist forerunners. The first 5 are history characters that you can find in the Bible. The current one is Nero of Rome, and the 7th is Adolf Hitler, famous not only for the Second World War, but also the Jewish Holocaust. With the 2 plausible interpretations, let's look at Revelation 17:11 in detail. My default NKJV will need some serious meditation to understand it. So let's look at NIV for an easier read. The beast once was, meaning he used to exist in the world. Now it's not, meaning he's no longer here. In other words, already died during John's writing. He's the 8th and he belongs to the 7th. I used to be taught that he is linked to the number 7th king or kingdom. Then one day it struck me, 7 is not 7th. 7 means belong to all the past 7 and not just the 7th. With that, let's explore the 2 interpretations. The beast is a composite of 3 animals. Lion, the kingdom of Babylonia. Bear, the kingdom of Medo-Persia. Leopard, Greece, which was split into 4. Then in Daniel 7:7, it describes the 4th beast with iron teeth. That would be the Roman Empire. In Daniel 2, the iron legs was the Roman Empire, matching the 4 kingdoms in Nebuchadnezzar's dream. But before that, Israel was under Assyrian rule, and Egypt. Egypt? Yes, under the Egyptian reign. The land of Canaan was under them. And the 7th kingdom to come is the Ottoman Empire, headquartered in Constantinople. All these 7 empires have the Holy Land under them. So as long as the beast empire, the 8th, covers minimally Israel and Egypt, all 7 past kingdoms will match this. For completeness, Daniel 7:23 mentions the 4th beast is the 4th kingdom, which have to be the Roman kingdom. It is also a terrifying beast with 10 horns, and that little horn, the beast kingdom. Hence, the 8th kingdom will have very strong roots to the past Roman Empire, but now it is iron mixed with clay. In summary, the beast empire will be centered around the Middle East, encompassing Israel. Its characteristic strongly resembles the past Roman Empire. It could be the way it is governed, or the orderliness of its army. Moving on to the next interpretation, 7 Antichrist forerunners. The beast is the 8th Antichrist. He belongs to the same league as the earlier 7 Antichrists. He and his in lilac color, indicating that the 7 heads refer to people instead of kingdom. He will come out of the abyss, from a place where the dead are held. This matches with Revelation 33, which says that one of the 7 heads had a fatal wound in the past. Bible scholars holding this interpretation will point to Nimrod as the beast that will arise from the abyss. Nimrod? Why? For one, he's a giant of a man, matching Daniel 7:20, where his appearance is greater than normal humans. And here comes the conspiracy. In April 2003, the tomb of Gilgamesh, another name for Nimrod, was uncovered in Iraq. The remains were well preserved and kept in the National Museum. In that same month, US invaded Iraq. Saddam Hussein was the ruler. After the victory, a US helicopter landed immediately on the museum grounds and looted most of the things. When we see the timeline between the two to be less than 1 month, you start wondering if this conspiracy theory could have a sinister truth behind it. Will Nimrod be resurrected? Or perhaps using mRNA technology injects Nimrod's DNA to the Antichrist candidate, causing him to transform into a big man. But because there has to be a fatal wound of the past, a visible fatal wound of the past, I tend to lean towards the resurrected Nimrod postulation. In the last several minutes, we saw that the symbol of the beast and 7 heads could represent both kingdoms and men. It is a dual representation. Again, in the beast kingdom, there will be strong links to the Roman Empire. And when we consider 7 past Antichrist forerunners, don't be surprised if one day a tall and big man rises from the abyss. Nimrod, perhaps. We just covered a super heavy session. I don't know about you, but I would be tired if I'm the listener. Hence, we end here for now. But there's one more point we did not cover. Why is the beast described as scarlet in color in Revelation 17? Hopefully that will not take too long. And then we will wrap all this up, summarizing all the clear characteristics that Antichrist must fulfill. And more important for us, assuming that he, Antichrist, is already on earth and is a known figure but festering in the shadows. What are the telltale signs that we can look out for? Till then, this is Kai. See you in the next session. If you find this video beneficial, please click the like icon. YouTube algorithm automatically recommends it to others if there are higher like counts. You can also subscribe to my channel so that you can see my past and future videos. Finally, please forward and share with your friends so that they too can benefit. Thank you and God bless.